In this episode, Colleen discusses how preparing for CAR T-cell therapy reinforced the importance of asking questions, understanding every available treatment option, and advocating for care that aligned with her values. Drawing on both her professional background and personal experience, she shares practical advice for patients on becoming active partners in treatment decisions and embracing the hope that scientific advances continue to bring.
My myeloma behaves in such a way that you start to see it tick up. And so we got to the point where it started to go up. And so I knew I was relapsing. I want to say the end of 2023. It's just my M spike started to pop up a little bit. We started to see a little bit, but I didn't meet the criteria of relapse yet. And at that point in time, it was really, really scary because CAR T was not available in second line. And so I was sitting there, and my biggest fear, to be honest with you, was I didn't know what was going to be available to me. I didn't know. Like, all I knew is that I was relapsing. And it was really a timing thing. Was it going to be approved? Was it not going to be approved? Was there going to, at that point, CAR T was really hard to get too. I believe Sloan was only getting 4 slots a month for each of the CAR Ts they had available. So could I even have access to it? I was interested in it in 2019 because, to me, when stem cells therapy was explained to me, it was going to make sure that I would be progression free for a while, but it wasn't going to increase my overall survival. And it didn't make sense to me that I would have to give up so much in recovery if it wasn't going to extend my life any longer. So for me, it just didn't seem like a match. Where CAR T, the idea that my own T cells could heal my body sounded amazing to me. So I was really interested in that. And just who I am in general, I am always going to go with the clinical trial and the newer science every single time, even if there's risk involved, even if we don't have all the data yet, just from who I am as a person, I'm always going to opt that. I know a lot of people always focus on becoming MRD negative. For me, MRD negative was never a big thing. I was always focused on, can I stay in remission long enough to get the next big thing in science? I just wanted the next big thing in science. So for me, that was always the goal. I just need to be in remission long enough to the better thing comes out. And so far, it hasn't failed me. I have to tell you, when I was first diagnosed in 2015, I want to say the life expectancy was 3 to 5 years. And it seems I get an additional 5 years every 5 years. Like, my life expectancy keeps on getting better and better and better. So I have to say, for me in particular, science hasn't failed me. It has showed up consistently for me. And so I was really excited about that when that was a possibility and an option. So were there questions that I wished I asked, or information did I wish I knew prior to going into CAR T? And I was very lucky that at Memorial Sloan Kettering, that they really took the time with me. I took a lot of time. I took a lot of time. So when you meet with the transplant team, it just isn't like, hey, go over next door to the transplant team. Like, you know about this like a month ahead of time. So I would plan. I would look up all the different things online. I'd look up the research. I'd look up the clinical. I'd look at the different Facebook groups, see what people were saying. And I formulated a list of questions. I met with my husband. I asked my husband, what did he want to ask? I met with my son. I asked my son, was there things that he wanted to know? Is there anything he needed to know from that perspective? And then I would ask questions like, could you explain? And I remember even asking the question, like, if it was your own mom, what would you recommend? And kind of looking at it like, I get what you're recommending for me, but what would you do if it was your own family member? And I got to sit down with the team, and each time they spent about an hour and a half with me. I met with the transplant team twice, which is also the CAR T team. And then on top of that, I also met with the doctor who actually did the CAR T for me. And he met with me a good 2 hours through the time. Like, I had such opportunity to ask questions. I never felt rushed. I felt that they really did a phenomenal job in making sure I had all the information. And I don't understand science. Like I'm coming from a social work therapy background, so that science stuff is kind of new to me. So some of my questions were probably very elementary and very basic. I still have a hard time understanding what all the labs mean. So I'm sure I don't sound like the most educated person saying, I don't know why you're taking this lab. Can you explain it to me? But they did a really great job in explaining. And then there were times where I'd even say, I heard what you just said. I don't understand a thing you said. Can you explain it at a lower level? Because yeah, that was a little bit high for me. And I would sit there and I would keep asking until I fully understood what they were saying. Myeloma is very, any cancer is a horrible cancer to have. I don't want to minimize that. But one of the things with myeloma is that we have so many different treatment options. And I think it's not where you have X disease, you have to do X. There's so many different options you can do. And there's so many cancers where you don't have that choice. It's just not available to you. So I think one of the great things about myeloma, and there's not great things, but if you were to look at anything that's kind of a good thing about myeloma is that we do have so many choices and there are so many different variables and so many different things you can do. And so really understanding what that can look like, I think is really important because every person is going to be unique and every person's going to be individualized and every treatment plan is not going to look the same. And I think that's okay because I think we're individuals and I think our treatment plans should match what we need, not what another person has. So how did advocacy help me through that plan and how did it help me to stay guided with what I was going to choose? I have a background as a licensed professional counselor and I work in state government and a large part of what I do is advocacy with disabilities. So I was lucky enough to have a background in that area. I believe in informed consent. I know informed consent. I teach informed consent. Like informed consent is something I do on a daily basis. And so I went in with the mindset that I was not going to have a doctor tell me what to do because I recognized that I was a very valuable person in that equation and that I needed to know the information so I could choose what I was going to do. So at no point was the question ever, what am I going to do next? It was always, can you explain what my options are so I could choose what's right for me? So I think that part was really helpful in how I even framed the questions because again, and I'm sure there's been different providers that I've met through along the lines that really liked one treatment over another treatment. It was never my question, which treatment do you like? My question was, can you explain it to me? And so I don't think I ever got in that kind of push pull where a provider was recommending something and I was flatly saying I'm not going to do it because we never had that conversation. The conversation was always, what are all my choices? And I think that really helped diffuse a lot of that confrontation that can happen, which did not happen in my case. So talking about advocacy for patients who might not have that background. And again, I'm coming from the disability world. So in the disability world, we believe that everybody has a voice. We believe that everybody can actively participate in their treatment. And we believe we'll meet you where you are. But there's no such thing as someone who cannot participate. We believe everybody has a voice and everybody should be heard. We believe that we're not going to put you in a box. We believe that you are an individual and we're going to create a system around you. So I came in with this belief system, again, of being very self-directed about really creating something around what my needs were. I think understanding the medical component is one thing. Absolutely. What's the science? What are the treatment options? Absolutely. And that's where your oncologist and your medical team is so important because, again, as a layperson, this stuff is really hard and complex to understand. It's really helpful to have someone explain what that is in simple language that we can understand. But there's other components to informed consent. There's the financial responsibility. You have, understanding how it's going to financially impact you. There's, your personal responsibility. Are you a caregiver? Are you responsible for people? How is that going to impact the lives of the people that are in your life? Do you have work obligations? There's so many things to consider that I think that you are really a crucial part in the informed consent process because ultimately all the aspects of your life. Your care team isn't going to understand. I always give the example. My autistic sister calls me every single night at 8 o'clock. on the dot. She FaceTimes me. If I don't answer, that's a tough day for her. She needs to see me. They're not going to understand all those different dynamics and all those nuances that are specific to my life, right? And so again, and nor should they, because they're not meeting with me to know all the different aspects of my life. So it's really up for me to take that information and to figure out what is best for me in that situation, what fits my life best.
In a later episode, Colleen will continue to discuss how seeking a second opinion was important to her, including finding an oncologist who fit her personality and philosophy for treatment.